What's up agents, Epic Slayers here, welcome back to a brand new Division video. Blackout will be released tomorrow and I thought it would be a good idea I go over the build that I'm going to be using for Blackout. Now this is a build that I've used a lot for PvE, it works very well. Not only do you have great survivability, but also you have a great amount of damage with this build as well. So if you enjoy this video, drop a like and let's get to the build. Alright agents, so this is the build that I'm going to be running in Blackout. It's 6-piece D3 FNC and we've got 2 orgs. Now the reason I'm running D3 FNC is because it's very good in group play. The 6-piece is for group play, but it's also a very good solo build because you get extreme survivability, you've got massive shield in front of your face, you've got crazy damage mitigation, and you can do some pretty good damage as long as it's spec'd properly, and that's what I hope to show you guys today. So we're just going to go straight over the build and follow up with the weapons that I am using. So the vest here, as you can see, we've got health, enemy armor damage, and ammo capacity. If I could change this, I would, and I would change health as a major attribute to skill haste, because health's not really that important on this particular type of build, especially for PvE, when you've got a massive shield protecting you. Now, modded wise, we're running stamina mods here with damage to elites. Moving on to the mask, we've got enemy armor damage and damage to elites, and the mod here is firearms with damage to elites. Now, the reason I have run stamina and then firearms is because I've simply got enough stamina to get me over that 9,000 mark, because that activates the 6-piece, and then the rest of it will be put into firearms. So that's very important to remember. With this mask, you definitely want to be getting damage to elites here and enemy armor damage. So those are by far the best major and minor attributes for the mask in PvE. Now moving on to the knee pads, we've got skill, power, stamina, and what's important here is the minor attribute of damage to elites. You want to be getting that because that makes a massive difference in PvE. And I've run skill power here just simply because I'm running the shield. It just gives me that extra little bit of toughness on the shield, which is very important with this. Now modded wise, we're running firearms mod and ballistic shield damage. Now this does work, ballistic shield damage, it gives you that extra DPS, and I am running 4 of these, give me an extra 16% damage, which is very good with this particular build. Now moving on to the backpack, we've run in skill power and stamina here. Skill power again just to give me that extra bit of toughness on my shield. Not that I need it really, but it's always nice to have that extra bit of toughness when there's not really anything else I could spec it into, at least in my opinion. The only thing you could probably spec this into was crit hit damage, and that will be the same on the knee pads as well. You could probably spec this into crit hit damage just to give you that little bit of extra damage boost, but I prefer skill power. I guess it's all down to trial and error. From what I've tested, I actually prefer skill power off the crit hit damage. Crit hit damage doesn't really make that much difference with this. Moving on to the gloves, we've got SMG damage, crit damage, and skill haste, which again is very important. And then lastly, moving on to the holster, we've got reload speed here. And the reason I've gone for reload speed over skill haste is because skill haste isn't that important with this particular build, because you can just enter cover, wait for your shield to come back if you need to. You shouldn't really ever need to, you know, go into cover to get your shield to go back, because you're not going to really take in the amount of damage you're taking really isn't going to do enough to get your shield down. But reload speed is important because when you are using a shield, your reload speed is increased, so having that just helps bring the reload speed back. Now the reason as I said before, you want to be getting that 9,000 stamina is because, as you can see here, if you read through this gigantic improved frontline set bonus talent, then at 9,000 stamina you get an extra 200% ballistic shield health, which is very strong. And the reason why this is very good in group play, as you'll see here, when you're at 9,000 stamina, you get 6 seconds of a buff. When you receive a certain amount of physical damage, your armor is increased by 30%, and that's for every person within 15 meters in your group. And when it's exotic damage, then you get an extra 30% weapon damage. That's for everyone. So this is very good in group play, but it can be used for solo as well, of course. Now moving on to the weapons here. Now as you can see with my first weapon, this is my sort of DPS weapon. I've got destructive, deadly, and ferocious, which means I do, you know, it's pretty much the god roll in respect to PvE damage. So that's what I'd recommend, and I've just modded this with crit damage, crit chance mods wherever I can get it with a magazine that gives me a little bit extra crit damage and rate of fire, as you can see there. The second weapon is the weapon that I need if I'm getting into a bit of trouble and I need a bit of health back for any reason. So predatory, killing a target regenerates 35% health over 20 seconds. That's important. And then we've got self-preserved. Critical hits with this weapon heal the user for 3% of damage dealt. And then lastly, we've got talented. Killing a target with this weapon increases skill bar by 15% for 20 seconds. So that's kind of that. But the only other thing that I would probably suggest here is I do have another org, and I'll show you it now, is not that one. I do have another sort of score 223 org here. We've got determined here. Killing a target reduces all skill downs by 7.5%. That's really, really good. I'd actually probably have that particular talent over talented on my current weapon. So if you were going to make a change, that would be the change that I would make. So if we go over to my character sheet here, and I'll show you. Let's go over to my character. So, I mean, these numbers don't really make much difference at the end of the day. That's not important. What is important are these numbers. So we've got damage to elite at 43%. Enemy armor damage is at 13%. That doesn't seem right to me. Let me just... if I change weapons, that might change it up here. So let's go. Damage to elites is 53%. Enemy armor damage is at 28%. So it's pretty good. It does a lot, you know, it does pretty good damage. Skill haste is only 7%. As I said, not important. Let's go over to my ballistic shield here. As you can see, my health on my ballistic shield is just over 2 million. And then I am running an immunizer station. But, and I'm not sure, you guys have to let me know in the comments below because I've not tested this. But I believe if you've got your ballistic shield out, then the shock damage you'd receive if you were playing total blackout, when your bar is basically charged to the full amount, and it's like when you go into the underground and you get the shock on that. Once you get the bar to a certain amount, then you get shocked yourself. I believe the ballistic shield actually negates that, so you don't have that at all. And if that's true, I wouldn't run immunizer. I'd probably run ammo cache, because that would give your skill cooldowns recovery faster. But if not, then you want to be running immunizer. But you may want to run immunizer anyway, just for the sake of everyone else. Lastly, as you can see, the signature skill, we've gone for Tac Link. Again, don't really need Recovery Link, and you don't really need Survival Link, to be completely honest. Tac Link's pretty good if you're in real trouble and you need to sort of burst down an enemy. Having Tactical Link does help, and it also helps finish off bosses at the end of any sort of mission. So there you go, that's the build in its entirety. As I said, this is a very strong build for both solo, but mainly group playing. And in Blackout, you are going to be matchmaking, you are going to be in group play, so you will be giving a lot of buffs to your teammates, and you're going to be doing, you know, pretty good damage, but more than anything, you're going to have such crazy survivability that when everyone else is down, you'll be the last man standing, I can promise you that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, it does help me out, and until the next one, Epic out.